Back in Alan's day, it was a man's world. But now, times have changed.
When I was a little kid, I used to play with Hot Wheel cars instead of dolls like any normal girl.
Terrain Tamer is looking for parts specialists to train up. And Alan Gray is the toughest trainer around.
Wow, look at the cat dragged in.
Can Alan leave his old school thinking behind?
Yeah, so we've got to get some overalls with bumps in them. And
Can these girls prove that when it comes to the tools, they're as capable as any bloke? Tune in to find out.
Righto, what's going on? Hey, how are you going this morning?
All right.
Oh my goodness, we better do something better than we did yesterday. Listen, while I'm just getting a couple of things going, can you guys give this windows a wash? Spray it on with that and take it off with that and whatever.
No worries.
Don't spray up your arm. Be here all day.
That's right, I'll get your half.
No, I can't reach the window.
Taking the tit off the windscreen now. Yeah, are you done yet?
Yeah.
Oh, hurry up. It should have been done 5 minutes ago. I'll finish it off properly. Over here, kids. Okay, now, you're not so involved in four-wheel driving as well? Okay, so I'm expecting lots of questions from you, okay? Right, so that's a shock absorber. It's off one of our Hilux vehicles, standard genuine shocker. What can you think that we could improve about that?
The shaft size.
Shaft size, yeah.
The fluid amount?
Fluid amount.
Yeah, and how much weld.
Yeah, well,
goes
it doesn't
around
look
instead of
terribly good,
two
does it? But
tabs.
anyway, let's have a look at the standard one that we've produced. Sort of part of our research and development. Hey, what did you want?
Thicker shaft.
Bigger shaft,
More fluid?
more fluid, and
Full weld.
look at that, bigger
Yep.
shaft. This shock absorber is unusual in that it takes all the suspension of the vehicle as well as the shock absorber, because the spring sits on here, so everything's taken through this bottom section here. So we've made it pretty massive.
Terrain Tamer have gone one step further and taken shock absorbers used in professional off-road racing and adapted them for everyday use.
What do you reckon about that? Them apples?
Yeah.
Nice jigger. Now that's a gas shocker. We've got a big reservoir here to help cool it out as a remote thing.
Yep.
We've got a pretty massive shaft at the bottom here, adjustable for vehicle height. So that's our latest U-Butte thing.
So is the extra fluid more for cooling or?
The extra fluid in this probably hasn't got much more fluid than that one's got, but yeah, for cooling, but it's got gas pressure to stop the fluid in there bubbling when it starts to get really hot. Okay. So it actually keeps the temperature down, and that's what a shocker does, get rid of give rid of the spring energy. We can actually adjust that in pressure from 1 to 8. If you put it on a work ute where you're going to have varying sorts of load, you can set it up pretty high. And as you said before, if you're out with your family and you want a more comfortable ride, it's very easy to dial it down to 2 or 3 as a setting. So instantly, and it works well.
Terrain Tamer have developed a new coil spring called a Smart Coil. But first, Al asks the girls about standard coil springs.
Okay, that's a standard coil spring. Disadvantages? Any disadvantages, coils?
The wear on them, like they get soft and they sag.
Lose tension a bit, you reckon?
Yeah.
They're a bit harder on shock absorbers because there's no interleaf friction like you get on a leaf spring. So they float up and down a bit, so you need fairly heavy shockers. However, there's a thing that we've picked up that we believe is very good. It's a variable rate spring. This is constant, no matter how far you push down, it's sort of the rate alters gradually. This one here, you'll notice something different about that.
Yeah, it's thicker in the middle.
Thicker in the middle where?
Around here. It's thicker, and then it goes to thin.
Okay, yeah, right, so the gauge of the wire gradually reduces. That's pretty cunning, isn't it? Wonder how they do that. Right, so yeah, from about here, we've got about 4 coils that are actually getting thinner and thinner. Why would they do that?
So it doesn't have as much impact.
How come?
So you can have softer shocks.
How come?
Because of the steel gauge, I guess.
Yeah, what actually happens, as this goes down, gradually the coils touch each other and reduce the amount of spring that's available, making it stronger, okay? So the first part of the suspension is nice and soft, and then it gets harder and harder and harder. So really a true progressive rate spring.
Now that the girls have learnt about the Smart Coils and the gas strut shocks, it's time to fit them to the 70 Series Land Cruiser.
Okay, let's go. You kids have got a lot to learn. That's it, kid.
Push your fingers out. That one a bit tighter.
Yeah, I reckon.
It's too high.
When you're rocking and trying to pull Make sure you upset it. You know elephants can tip over a train because they rock from side to side. What have you done wrong here? Anything?
No.
No. There's confidence for you. Come on, Blondie, what's happening?
You gonna say stop?
That's good. It's right at my height.
Okay, tighten that up now. Don't jam me fingers. A little bit of class.
How tight are these going?
You steal my screwdriver.
Yeah, have a look in the bottom drawer there. They're not there, but it'll keep you out of my hair for a while.
I'm just doing up the anti-sway bar, just so it's not hanging down and it stops the vehicle from swaying so much.
How does it do that?
Because it's connected from the diff to the actual chassis, which is to the body.
So is it a real good job? Real good thing?
Yes. It has its advantages.
Let me tell you what it does. All it does is add the weight of one wheel and half the diff to stop the car turning over. Everybody thinks it's got some magical properties. It doesn't. All it does is add the wheel and half the diff to stop the vehicle rolling. So it does a good job. You see truck ones, they're 1.5 inches thick, you know. Okay, so we've got to put some wheels on and then we're going to go down the test track. What did we set the shockers on?
8.
On 8, okay, so that should be riding fairly rough for the heavy load. So, over the bumps we go. Oh, yeah. Incredible where vehicles go, isn't it, when you come to think of it? You can't turn them over forwards and backwards, although Hotshotty would say you can.
You can't go up there, Alan.
Why not?
There's metal coming out of it.
Oh, you'd be surprised what I can do. Alright girls, let's go and change that setting onto a very softer setting and see if there's any difference.
Number one.
That'll be
Alright,
good.
number 1.
The girls adjust the settings of the shock from setting 8 down to 1.
Yeah, so that's on the first setting.
On the lowest setting of the shocks, which is for when you're carrying less weight, the girls notice a much smoother ride.
Bottomed out.
Al decided to give the girls a go behind the wheel. Lakara's never driven off-road before.
Yeah, come on.
If it tips over, I'm getting out first.
Now for Molly's turn. She's had a lot of experience behind the wheel.
Yeah, so it's been good to have you with us today, and certainly look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah,
next
me too.
session.
Should be good.
All across Australia, Terrain Tamer have you connected.